As of April 2025, Canadians aged 14 and older who intend to remain in the U.S. for 30 days or longer must now register with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services (USCIS), or face penalties that include hefty fines and possible imprisonment. For decades, Canadians have enjoyed relatively seamless travel to the United States. Whether heading south for a winter escape, business ventures, academic pursuits, or extended family visits, crossing the border has often felt more like a routine than an ordeal. However, a significant shift has emerged that is poised to change this experience. This new rule, which many Canadians only recently became aware of, actually has its roots in a decades-old U.S. immigration law. The requirement for non-citizens to register with the U.S. government dates back to the Alien Registration Act of 1940 and was reaffirmed in the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952. Despite being on the books for years, enforcement of this requirement has historically been inconsistent. That changed with the issuance of an executive order by President Donald Trump on his first day in office. The order called for full enforcement of all existing immigration laws, including the mandate for registration of non-citizens staying over 30 days. Although the rule was legally challenged, a U.S. federal judge recently upheld its implementation, allowing it to take effect in April 2025. The implications of this policy are far-reaching, particularly for a group of Canadians often referred to as snowbirds. These are retirees who spend their winters in sun-soaked U.S. states like Florida, Arizona, and California. For years, snowbirds have traveled with few complications, often staying for several months at a time. Now, they are facing a bureaucratic hurdle that has caused confusion and anxiety across the community. Many, like longtime Florida traveler Jenny Patterson, have expressed concern and frustration. She described the requirement as surprising and inconvenient, reflecting widespread uncertainty about what this might mean for the future of cross-border mobility. A significant source of this confusion stems from how Canadians typically enter the United States. Those who fly into the country usually receive an I-94 form upon arrival, which effectively serves as proof of registration. However, Canadians who drive across the land border often do not receive this document unless they explicitly ask for it. Consequently, many land travelers may not realize that they are now required to register online after arriving in the U.S. This inconsistency in how travelers are processed has led to a surge in misinformation and concern, with advocacy sites like Snowbird Advisor, CA reporting an influx of questions and uncertainty from travelers. In response to the new rule, the Canadian government has updated its travel advisories to reflect the heightened scrutiny that travelers can expect at U.S. entry points. Officials warn that Canadians should be prepared for rigorous inspections, including potential searches of electronic devices. The advisory emphasizes the importance of cooperating fully with border authorities, noting that failure to comply could lead to detention or even deportation. Despite these stern warnings, there is at least one small concession for Canadians. They are currently exempt from the fingerprinting requirement that applies to other foreign nationals staying in the U.S. for extended periods. Still, they must carry proof of registration at all times during their stay. Failure to do so can result in fines of up to $5,000, imprisonment for up to 6 months, or both. Beyond the legal implications, the new policy may have a chilling effect on cross-border travel. Recent data indicates a noticeable decline in the number of Canadians visiting the U.S. compared to the previous year. Travel by land dropped by 32%, while air travel decreased by 13.5%. While the fluctuating exchange rate is a factor, the perceived increase in border enforcement and the risk of running afoul of new immigration requirements are likely contributing to this downward trend. Legal and civil rights organizations have also raised red flags. Groups like the American Immigration Council argue that the policy could open the door to racial profiling, harassment, and civil liberties violations, requiring millions of people to carry specific immigration documents at all times. They warn, creates a climate of fear and over-policing. The National Immigration Law Center, one of the organizations that challenged the rule in court, has called the ruling disappointing and advised those affected to consult immigration attorneys to fully understand their obligations and rights under the new rule. The broader context of the rule's implementation reveals a U.S. immigration system undergoing significant transformation. While public discourse often focuses on illegal border crossings, a large portion of the unauthorized population in the U.S. consists of individuals who entered legally but overstayed their visas. Canadians are among this group. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, tens of thousands of Canadians were reported to have overstayed each year. Though those numbers have declined slightly, the new policy is clearly aimed at addressing this form of immigration irregularity. In light of these changes, some Canadians are re-evaluating their travel plans altogether. Patterson, who normally drives to Florida, is considering flying next year to avoid the uncertainties and complications associated with land border crossings. Others are exploring alternative destinations for long-term stays, such as Mexico, Portugal, or even warmer parts of Canada like British Columbia. The digital age is playing a growing role in how immigration policies are enforced. U.S. officials have begun using technology to monitor compliance more closely, with some individuals receiving digital notifications to self-deport if they fail to register. This trend toward tech-driven enforcement raises questions about privacy, due process, and the overall experience of foreign nationals in the United States. Looking ahead, it remains uncertain whether this policy will be reversed or modified under a future administration. Immigration has become one of the most polarized issues in American politics, and measures framed as national security priorities tend to have lasting power. For now, Canadians who plan to stay in the U.S. for extended periods must adjust to this new reality. The best course of action for Canadian travelers is to stay informed, register promptly when required, and maintain proper documentation during their stay. Consulting with an immigration professional can also provide clarity and peace of mind. As the situation continues to evolve, it is clear that what was once a straightforward border crossing may now require a new level of preparation and awareness. What do you think? Your thoughts and experiences could shed light on how this change is truly impacting the Canadian travel community.